What's up, guys? Charles from Team COG. We're doing a local feud. So we're going to go through some ban list options, and we're going to see what our few members from our locals, the FUED and Matt, are wanting, what they think cards are going to get hit to. So let's have a little bit of fun in the family feud. I'm your host, Charles Harvey. Let's get on with it. What's up, guys? Charles from Team COG coming at you guys with local feud. So today in this video, what we're going to do is I have two people from our locals, the FUED and Matt, and I'm going to go off a list of cards, and they're going to say ban, semi-limit, or unban. And, well, not really unbanned, but...
It won't be really touched.
Yeah, it won't be. But for the most part, we're just going to see what the locals, members from our locals, think on this upcoming ban list. So let's just jump into it. I'm your host, Charles Harvey, and let's get on with local feud. So the first card is Mermaid. All right, so Nightmare Mermaid. What do you guys think is going to happen to Nightmare Mermaid? So we have a banned and a unbanned. All right, so Matt, why do you think it's going to be banned?
Because it has so many one-card combos and it limits the splashability for Orcas.
Yep, Orcas is a definite problem, I would say. Some people like it. It allows diversity. But
yeah,
if people are, that's a good way to probably answer it. So.
And it also lets the PK link be more splashable into most decks because it go like for Mermails it helps them keep competitive, and then it's being splashed in Trick Stars, Dinos, and other decks because of Mermaid.
Yeah. So by getting rid of Nightmare Mermaid, you're saying that we could potentially keep the Rusty Boy.
Yeah.
Okay. Why do you think it'll be untouched first?
So yes, there are all these one-card combos that make it really degenerate when it comes to Orcas. Let's splash into everything. But there's also two other Nightmare cards that it brings out that are going to pretty much lose their value. There's Ibly and there's Idly. So we got to think about it that way, because people use Ibly because that's the only way they can stun their opponent. So instead of hitting Nightmare Mermaid, we could just hit Orcas Nightmare. That's the only reason why it's splashable in so many of those different decks. So if you cut that problem, we can still keep the Rusty Boy and we can still keep Mermaid.
And allow for a little bit of splashability of the Nightmares. Okay. All right, guys, now here comes one that I want to put my input in on, but I'm going to refuse to, but it's going to be Saryuja's Skull Dread. What do you guys think is going to happen to the Skull Dread? When you're ready, put up your signs. Limit. All right, so you both agreed on this. And I have to say I agree on this one too, but why, Matt, why do you think it's going to be limited?
Because other decks can use it, abuse it, especially the Guard Dragons, and then decks that spam a lot, they use and abuse Skull Dread. They go into multiple Skull Dreads returns because it's the soft one's return effect.
That's absolutely right. Oh, why are you pointing at me?
Because you do it.
Yeah.
Oh, why are you pointing at me?
I'm guilty. I'm guilty of the Skull Dread.
Yeah, and you put out like so many negates you have to beat there, so...
Yeah, that's fair. What do you think, Ferg? Why do you think it's going to be limited?
Because it'll be easier to limit that one card than it would be to limit any other card that makes that card generate. Hit the problems flat out instead of trying to ban 3 different cards that cause that card to come out. Yeah, but Firewall's not the reason, because the decks that's bringing out 2 of them are your Guard Dragons.
Yep. And Saryuja, good to know, Saryuja at 1 is fair, but Saryuja at 2 is broken, just for the ability to just continually go into it and draw up to 12 cards. That's pretty busted. However, I do think limited is a perfect amount. But will Konami do it? I don't know.
Here's the other thing. If they decide, the way I look at it is if they decide to keep Saryuja at 3, since Dual Devastator's coming out, they'd probably just hit Agripane.
Yeah. There was an interesting concept brought up about the Guard Dragons. Is the Guard brought to you by Little FUED? The Guard Dragons could be that Konami is going to limit the future designs of future dragons, make them weaker now that Guard Dragons are out. Because right now, you can beam out any extra deck dragon with Agripane, so that means that Konami limited them themselves to how they can design the future dragons, meaning they can't make them as busted anymore. But, I don't know.
And that's why we lost Galaxy
95.
Yeah, 95. Yeah. We lost 95 because of it. So
remind me, are the Rockets supposed to be dragon?
Yep, the Rockets are dragons.
So here's the thing, that kind of debunks this whole thing, because the Rockets sound like they're going to be fairly consistent, fairly easy.
But are they going to be next tier? Find out next time on Local Feud. Anyway, well, let's just jump ahead on to Gazelle. Now, a lot of talk about the community is Gazelle going to get poached? So what do you guys think? What are they going to do? You think they're going to touch Gazelle? Salmon Great Gazelle, for all you guys who don't know.
That's a hard one because there's
so much
tons
more.
of art to that. But with her, be a Konami thing.
It could be a Konami thing, semi-limit. All right. Unban, okay. None touched. All right, Matt, lead us off. Why do you think they're going to semi-limit it?
Just to touch it, give it a slap on the wrist like they usually do for most decks that get a bunch of tops. They slowly hit them, but if it's still a problem, then they nut them at the end, at the next ban list.
You're right. Yep. We've seen that in previous accounts with Rat from Zodiac.
From Zoo.
They limit Rat, put it to 1, or they limit it and then put it to 1 in the dive. But all right, Ferg, why do you think they're going to not touch it?
Because that's not the problem with the deck. Because you have Balinks, that's just the Sanctuary, and Balinks gives them protection. So you limit Balinks, you pretty much cut all their protection that they would be holding on to through the game, and it just makes them easier to get hurt.
But if you want to kill it, you want to get rid of Sunlight Wolf.
That is a good point. All three of those are good points, and then it also has potential for more support in the future too. So it also depends how Konami wants to do it. But however, that is both of you guys have very valid points. So all right, let's move on to our second to last card, the Rusty Boy, Phantom Knight, Rusty Bardiche. What do you think is going to happen to Bardiche, guys? Untouched. All right, so go ahead. Why do you think it's going to be untouched, Matt?
Because it's not really that problem. Like, if you set 2 Fog Blades, it's easy to work through, but if you combine it with the Orcas, and then you go with the Nightmare combo with him, it's a problem. But if you get rid of, like what I said about Mermaid and the splashability, it does make him more fair in the game because you can't use him for leak materials. So
He is a very good generic Darkling for dark decks. What do you think, Ferg? The boots with the Ferg?
Well, the way I look at it is if they decide to get rid of it and we still keep Mermaid, they'll just keep going into Wee Witch instead. All that does is lose the Fog Blade potential. But when it comes to Fog Blade, we all just link away from it anyway.
Yep.
So
Fog Blade is easily maneuvered around.
It's like what
in
Matt
some
said.
cases.
It has the same argument as Mermaid. Because it really it's based around that. We get rid of Mermaid, we don't need to get rid of the Bardiche. If we get rid of the Orcas Nightmare, we don't need to get rid of any of them.
Okay. Now down for the last card, which is the Orcas Nightmare. Now, ever since this card's debut, it's when we saw the rise in Orcas. It's when we saw the rise in Orcas-themed decks. So, we got a ban and a ban. Okay, guys. So,
I feel like we just had this conversation like 3
Yeah,
times.
right. This is the 3rd time.
they're all cards, but more decks utilize Orcas Nightmare than just Orcas, and Mermaid can be utilized in more decks besides Orcas, even though it is Mech Knights use Mermaid to make it with Ibley as a 1-card setup for Blue Sky going first. So there are more decks that use them, but we all think that Orcas Nightmare is going to get banned. So I assume we'll start with Matt. Why do you think it's going to get banned?
Easy 1-card combo because just like I played Mech Knights this weekend on our 3v3 tournament and I saw a combo where I get into Mermaid, I'm gold. I can set 2 to 3 negates with seeing that 1-card combo.
So you're saying that Orcas Nightmare allows too much, or
Too much resource,
splashability? I see.
too much splashability, and it gives too much more potential to what the Orcas can do with the splashability, especially if they come out with a new archetype.
Okay. All right, guys. Well, now that's it for the cards that I had a list of. I went through Zodiac Duelist, went through King Top Deck, and just found the cards that most people complained about. And this is what I was able to find for my list. So now let's go on to free cards. Why don't you guys take that piece of paper and write down 1 card you think they're going to free, and then show it to the camera.
Okay, what's on our ban list?
Oh, I don't.
That would even have the potential to come back.
Use your imagination.
I don't. Which can we also talk about the fact that we didn't talk about the Thunder Dragon?
Thunder Dragon could also be Skull Dread.
Let it go.
You take away the multiple Skull Dreads, they can't draw into a lot of combo pieces, and they're like, you guess you could hit Thunderdark maybe, but Skull Dread, I think putting that to 1 would be a pretty firm hit. And essentially most Thunders are now moving to a Crusadia variant anyway, just so they have an easier way to make the Skull Dread.
But Crusadia's not even that good.
Local feud. Write down your
God.
Yeah, but he did get a top 15.
Yeah.
Unlike you.
Yeah, I've got the
Local
top 32
feud.
with the Metalfoe Dino.
just write down. This is
God.
Survey says you all are incorrect. Keep writing down your darn. Write down your card.
36. I wasn't able to find everything.
Honestly, I can't even think about something. Just give me back one Magic Spectre unicorn. I'll be okay with life.
All right. Okay, so that's yours, Magic Spectre uniform.
Because well, since he's still writing his down, I'll just play him on. How's that sound?
Yep, go ahead. Go ahead. Explain why you
So-
think we need one.
Pendulums have been neutered. They've been debunkled. They've been hit left and right. Yeah, we had the FTKs, all the degeneracies, but we only have one Electrum, which even when it comes to Unicorn, it doesn't really matter. We have all these, we need to be able to have the zones to bring out Unicorn to begin with, because Unicorn usually goes back to the extra deck as soon as it comes out, which wastes the space, and that's pretty much it. Sure, we get back to one, all that's going to do is bring out more Electrum Turbo cards, but we only have one.
And also taking out Electrum is very easily interrupted.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Matt, show us your list. What do you have? Pot of Avarice and Feather Duster. Okay, so why do you think Pot of Avarice?
I've been animally about this for over a year about Pot of Avarice. It's coming back to one to test it out in the format, and it'd be nice to have another pot card, which OCG has it for one, at one, and it's not doing too much. It's helping some decks, but it's not in a lot of top decks.
They also have Maxi.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah, that is something to take into account. So Harpy's Feather Duster. I assume, go ahead and hit us with the Harpy's Feather Duster. Why do you think we need Harpy's Feather Duster?
It's really good to combat all the back row heavy decks. Salamangreys,
Ultra Guys, Sky
Sky Strikers, Sub Terrors.
just stun in general.
Yeah.
And there was that little bit before, a few lists ago, that we all thought Harpy's Feather Duster was going to come back, but I don't know. So another honorable mentions for free cards to come off list completely would be Scout. Scout's been limited. Bring back the Scout, full force Scout.
Alex would like that.
Yep. Gateway would be a good card to come back. They gave it to one. It has, the deck did pop its head up, but it only popped its head up because there's more powerful cards to enable it, such as Rongo Bongo.
And now we're getting
Bring all
the
the modern
Link
cards
Monster here next week.
And then Etherly, the Heavenly Monarch, is another honorable mention that should be able to come back because it's did its time, I think. Monarchs aren't doing anything. The best tribute deck is essentially True Draco still, and I think Aether could come back and give the deck a competitive edge, but
They could just throw that deck into True Draco and call it good too, though.
they could try.
Right.
This has been Local Feud Guide. Charles Harvey from Team COG, the Ferg, and Matt from Locals at Game Times Cards and Collectibles.
We're involved enough.
We're signing out.